You have $1 million. You are the first person in your family who can say that, and nobody at the table believes you. It's a Sunday. The same table you grew up at, the one with the scratch in the corner from when you were 9 years old. Your uncle is telling the story of a guy he knew who put everything into some scheme and lost it all. Your mother is reheating a dish she's made the same way for 30 years. Somewhere between the second helping and the coffee, someone asks how work is going. You say it's going fine, and for 1 second, you almost tell them. You almost say the number out loud. But you already know how it would land, because in this family, a millionaire is a man on television. A millionaire is somebody else's son. A millionaire is not the person who pulled up tonight in a 9-year-old sedan and brought a store-brand pie because it was on sale. So you let it pass. You say work is fine, and the number stays exactly where it has always stayed, inside you, unspoken, carried alone. The number didn't arrive with a ceremony. There was no champagne, no phone call, no moment where the world tilted to acknowledge it. You were sitting in your car, in a parking lot, checking your account on your phone the way you've checked it 1,000 times, and the balance had simply crossed 7 figures. 1 million. You looked at it for a while. Then you put the phone in your pocket, drove home, and made dinner. Eggs, because that's what was in the fridge. That was the celebration. Eggs and the quiet hum of a refrigerator in a kitchen where nobody else was standing. It started smaller than anyone would believe. A paycheck, years ago, where instead of spending the whole thing the way you'd watched everyone you loved spend theirs, you kept a piece of it back. Not much. $40. $40 that didn't get spent, sitting in an account that paid almost nothing, doing almost nothing. But you noticed something that night that the people who raised you never had the room to notice. You noticed that the $40 didn't disappear. It just sat there. And it was yours. And nobody could take it. In your family, money was always something that happened to you. It came in and it went out, and there was never a gap in between to think. Rent was a threat. A car breaking down was a catastrophe. Wealth was something other people were born into or stole. Nobody ever sat you down and explained that a small amount of money, left alone and added to, quietly, for long enough, becomes a different kind of thing entirely. You had to find that out by yourself. You had no map. You were the first one to ever go looking. So you went looking. You read things nobody around you read. You said no to things everybody around you said yes to. You drove the same car for years while your cousins traded theirs in every time the dashboard lit up. You watched a sibling finance a vacation they couldn't afford, and you said nothing. You kept your head down, your spending boring, and your accounts growing. And the whole time, the strangest part was this. Nobody saw it. Nobody could have seen it, because the work of becoming the first looks like nothing from the outside. It looks like a person who's just a little too careful with money. It looks like someone who's doing okay, not someone quietly rewriting their entire bloodline. And here's the part that doesn't get easier, the table. Last year you tried, once. You mentioned, carefully, that your investments had done well, that you were in a good place. Your brother laughed. Not cruelly, he just laughed, the way you laugh at something that obviously isn't real, and said, "With that car?" And everybody chuckled, and the conversation moved on, and you sat there holding the truth in your mouth like a stone. They weren't being mean. They simply could not picture it. The picture doesn't exist in this family. There was no one before you to make it exist. That's the weight nobody warns you about. Being the first means there's no one above you who's done it, no one to call when you're scared. No one at that table who can look at you and say, "I know exactly what you're carrying, because I carried it too." You broke a pattern that ran for generations, and the reward for breaking it is that you broke it alone. The disbelief at the table isn't an insult. It's just the sound of a family that never had the words for what you became. There was a night your mother mentioned, quietly, that the roof needed work and she wasn't sure how she'd manage it. You could have covered it before she finished the sentence. The number to you was nothing, a rounding error, an afternoon. And you wanted to. God, you wanted to just make the problem disappear and watch her shoulders come down. But you also knew that the wrong kind of help, handed over too fast, would change something between you that you could never change back. It would turn you into the bank. It would turn her into someone who owed you. So instead you found a quieter way. You helped without announcing it. You let her keep her dignity intact, and her idea of you unchanged. And you drove home that night feeling that specific, nameless thing again. The loneliness of being able to fix something and choosing the harder, smaller way because you love them more than you love being seen. The number is real. You've checked. It's verified, it's yours, it crossed the line, and it keeps growing, quiet and steady, while the family that doesn't believe in it goes on living the only way it ever knew how. And some nights, that's a strange kind of grief. You did the impossible thing, and the people you did it for can't see it. The armor of looking ordinary protects you, but it also means you stand at that table every Sunday as the first millionaire your family ever produced, and not one person in the room knows they're sitting across from him. But here's what you've started to understand, slowly and at some cost. Maybe they were never the ones who needed to believe it. Maybe the person who needed to see it was you, 11 years ago, sitting in a car with $40 you decided not to spend. And maybe the people who will truly believe it haven't even been born yet. The ones who will come after you, who'll grow up with a map you never had, who'll hear the word millionaire and picture someone with your face. You're the first. That's the loneliest word in your family, and the most important one. And it makes you wonder, driving home from that table in your 9-year-old car, what are you actually building? And for whom?